Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all creatures lurking in the dark corners of the internet. Welcome to the twisted world of creepypastas. Now if you're thinking, BlisteringFaith, what the hell is a creepypasta? Is it some kind of Halloween themed spaghetti?
What? What the f?
Well, my dear viewers, you're in for a treat. Or should I say, a trick. Creepypastas, my friends, are the internet's version of campfire ghost stories. They're the tales that make you check under your bed at night, the stories that make you question every creak and groan of your house. They're the reason you're afraid to look in the mirror at midnight, for fear of seeing something looking back at you.
What the fuck? For fuck's sake.
And no, I'm not talking about your reflection after a night of heavy drinking. These stories range from subtly unsettling to the downright terrifying. They're the tales of haunted video games, of eerie websites, and of strange happenings and unsolved mysteries. They're the stories that make you question reality. What makes you wonder if maybe, just maybe, there's more to the world than that meets the eye. But creepypastas aren't just about the scares. They're about the storytelling, the creativity, the community. They're about sharing your darkest fears, your wildest imaginations, your most twisted thoughts. It's like a therapy session, but with more ghosts and fewer copays. And let's not forget about the memes. From Slenderman to Jeff the Killer, creepypastas have given birth to some of the internet's most iconic and most terrifying memes. It's a meme factory, but with more nightmares and fewer cat videos. But at the end of the day, creepypastas are more than just stories. They're a part of the internet culture, a testament to the power of storytelling, and a reflection of our deepest fears and darkest desires. They're a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we create ourselves. So buckle up, people. We're about to dive deep into the world of creepypastas. It's going to be a wild and possibly terrifying ride, but don't worry, I'll be here to guide you every step of the way. After all, what's a little fear among friends? Be warned, once you start down this path, there's no turning back. So are you ready to take the plunge? Are you ready to explore the dark corners of the internet? Are you ready to face your fears? If so, then let's get started. After all, as they say in the world of creepypastas, the only thing to fear is fear itself. And maybe that strange noise coming from your closet. Now the term creepypasta might sound like a dish your Italian grandma would make on Halloween, but trust me, it's far from it. The term actually originates from copypasta, a blend of the words copy and paste. And no, it's not a new type of pasta shape, it's a term used to describe viral, copied and pasted text. Creepypastas emerged in the 1990s when there were those chain emails of reposting on internet forums and Usenet groups. Remember those? Forward this to 10 people or a ghost will visit you tonight. Yeah, those were the precursors to our beloved creepypastas. The internet was a wild west back then, a luxury that slowly became a common household service, and with it came the birth of these spooky tales. Now some of you might be thinking, but BlisteringFaith, why would anyone want to scare themselves with these stories? Well, my dear viewers, the human mind is a curious thing. We love a good scare, don't we? It's like riding a roller coaster. You know you're safe, but the thrill of the ride gets your adrenaline pumping. Same with creepypastas. You're safe behind your screen, but the stories send chills down your spine. One of the earliest examples of creepypasta is arguably Ted the Caver. This tale, which started circulating around the early 2000s, tells the story of a man named Ted and his terrifying experiences in an unexplored cave. It's a classic, and if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend it. Just, maybe leave a light on. Creepypastas have evolved a lot since then. They've moved from simple chain emails and forum posts to full-blown productions with voice acting, animations, and even games. They've become a staple of internet culture, a genre of their own that continues to grow and evolve. But remember, people, as much as we love a good scare, it's important to remember that these are just stories. Or are they? I'll let you decide on that. But for now, let's move on to our next scene, where we'll dissect what makes a creepypasta truly terrifying. Now let's dissect this beast. The anatomy of a creepypasta is a fascinating thing. It's like a well-crafted horror movie. You've got your introduction where the normal world is established. This is your comfort zone. Enjoy it while it lasts, because soon we're moving into the complication phase. This is where things start to get weird. The shadows start moving, the floorboards start creaking, and the comfort zone, yeah, it's long gone. Then we hit the climax. This is the moment of maximum fear, the reveal of the monster, the discovery of the dead body, the realization that the call is coming from inside the house, and finally we have the resolution, which in the case of a creepypasta is usually anything but comforting. It's the twist of a knife, the final scare, the realization that the monster is still out there, waiting. But what's truly fascinating about creepypastas is their ability to tap into our collective fears. They're a reflection of what scares us as a society. And in the age of the internet, where our personal information is as vulnerable as a lamb in a wolf's den, it's no surprise that many creepypastas revolve around themes of privacy invasions, stalking, and the dangers of a digital world. It's like they say, the internet is dark and full of terrors. So there you have it, the anatomy of a creepypasta. It's a finely tuned machine designed to scare the living daylights out of you, and let's be honest, we wouldn't have it any other way. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some internet history to clear, just in case. And as we move on to our next scene, remember that the next time you're browsing the web late at night and you come across a spooky story, think twice before you click. Because in the world of creepypastas, you never know what horrors await you. Speaking of horrors, let's dive into the dark side of creepypastas. Stay tuned, if you dare. Now I know what you're thinking, BlisteringFaith, I thought we were here for the spooks, not the sickos. And you're right, but it's important to remember that not all monsters lurk in the shadows of our imagination. Some of them are very real, and they're lurking in the shadows of the internet. Now let's talk about the nudes. Not the artistic art, mind you, but the kind that gets leaked, shared, and spread around faster than a bad rumor in a high school hallway. In a world of creepypastas, these aren't just scandalous, they're downright terrifying. Imagine, if you will, a story where a simple click of a button can lead to your most intimate moments being exposed for all the world to see. It's enough to make you put tape over your webcam and throw your phone into the nearest river. But it doesn't stop there. Oh no, we're just getting started. Next up, we've got the pedophiles. Now I know you're thinking, hey, that's not funny. And you're right, it's not. It's horrifying. And that's exactly why it's a common theme in creepypastas. These stories serve as a chilling reminder that the internet can be a dangerous place, especially for the young and vulnerable. And finally, we've got catfishing. Now, this is a term that's been thrown around a lot lately, but in the world of creepypastas, it takes a whole new level of terror. Imagine being lured into a relationship with someone who isn't who they say they are, someone who's using you, manipulating you, all from behind the safety of a computer screen. It's the ultimate betrayal. And it's a fear that's all too real in today's digital age. It's a grim reminder that the internet, for all its wonders, can also be a place of nightmares. But remember, these are just stories. They're meant to scare us, to make us think, and to remind us to be careful in the digital world. So stay safe out there. And remember, not all monsters are make-believe. Now, as we move on to our next scene, let's lighten the mood a little bit. Now, these aren't just your run-of-the-mill spooky stories. These are tales that have transcended the digital realm and become part of our culture's zeitgeist. These are the stories that have kept us up at night, made us double-check our locks, and maybe, just maybe, made us believe in the boogeyman again. First up, we've got Slenderman. Now, this tall, faceless figure has become the staple of internet horror. He's been the subject of countless stories, games, and even a movie. But remember, he's just a story, right? I mean, it's not like there's a tall, faceless figure lurking in the shadows behind you right now. Is there? Next, we've got Jeff the Killer. Now, this is a face you won't soon forget. With his pale skin, carved smile, and soulless eyes, Jeff is the stuff of nightmares. But remember, folks, it's just a story. It's not like Jeff is hiding under your bed waiting for you to go to sleep.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Then there's the Rake. This creature is described as a large, hairless, dog-like creature with hollow eyes. It's known for stalking its victims and driving them into madness. But again, it's just a story. It's not like the Rake is watching you from your closet, waiting for you to let your guard down, is he? Right? And let's not forget about the Smile Dog. This story revolves around a cursed image that drives anyone who sees it into madness. But remember, again, it's just a story. It's not like the Smile Dog is waiting for you to open that suspicious email, right? I mean, so there you have it. There's a little bit of the legends of the internet. These stories have become a part of our culture, a testament to the power of the internet and our collective love for a good scare. Now, as we move on to our next scene, let's take a look at how these stories have impacted our culture. From movies and games to memes and merchandise, creepypastas have left their mark on the world. So stay tuned. Now, these aren't just your average bedtime stories. These tales have crawled out of the depths of the internet and into our everyday lives. They've influenced movies, games, and even our fashion choices. I mean, who among us has considered donning a black suit and a tie just to see if we could pull off the Slender Man look? First up, let's talk about the big screen. Hollywood, always on the lookout for the next big thing, couldn't resist the allure of these viral stories. Slenderman, the Bye Bye Man, and Channel Zero are just a few examples of creepypastas that have made their way into the silver screen. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want to see their favorite internet horror story brought to life? Just remember to bring a friend. Or 10. Next, let's talk about the video games. Creepypastas have inspired countless indie games and given us the chance to step into the shoes of our favorite characters, or run away from our favorite monsters. Games like Slender, The 8 Pages, and Beware the Rake have allowed us to experience these stories in a whole new way. Just remember, it's all fun and games until the power goes out. Now let's talk about fashion. From t-shirts and hoodies to cosplay and Halloween costumes, creepypastas have influenced our wardrobe choices in a big way. Who knew that dressing up like a faceless supernatural entity could be so trendy?
Bruh.
And let's not forget about the memes. Oh, the memes. From funny to downright terrifying, creepypastas have inspired countless memes, proving once again that the internet can turn anything into a joke. Laughter is the best medicine, especially when you're scared out of your mind. Now, these stories have transcended the digital realm and become part of our everyday lives. And as we move on to our next scene, we'll take a look at the supernatural elements of these stories. From ghosts and demons to otherworldly beings, creepypastas have given us a whole new perspective on the supernatural. Now I know what you're thinking. Blistering Faith, I thought we were talking about internet stories, not paranormal investigation. Well, my dear viewers, these two are more closely linked together than you might think. First, let's talk about the ghosts. Now, I'm not talking about the kind that go boo in the night. I'm talking about the kind that haunt your dreams and make you question your sanity. Stories like the Russian sleep experiment and No End House introduce us to the entities that are as mysterious as they are terrifying. So let's be honest, who doesn't love a good ghost story? Next up, we've got demons. Now, these aren't your typical fire and brimstone kind of demons. These are the kind that lurk in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Stories like The Expressionless and The Rake give us a glimpse into the darker side of the supernatural, where the line between man and monster is blurred. But it's not all doom and gloom. Some creepypastas introduce us to otherworldly beings that are more fascinating than frightening. Entities like the Slenderman and the Skinwalker may be terrifying, but they also give us a glimpse into a world beyond our own. A world where the rules of reality simply don't apply. Now you may be thinking, these are stories, they can't hurt us. Well, my dear viewers, that's where you're wrong. These stories have a way of getting under your skin and making you question what's real and what's not. That, my friends, is the true power of the supernatural. So there you have it, a glimpse into the supernatural side of creepypastas. From ghosts to demons to otherworldly beings, these stories have given us a whole new perspective on the unknown. Now you might be thinking, why would I love to be scared? That sounds like a terrible time. Well, my dear viewers, let me enlighten you. First off, talk about the adrenaline. You know that thing that makes your heart race when you're watching a horror movie or riding down a roller coaster? It's the body's natural response to fear, and guess what? It can be pretty addictive. That's right, some of us are just adrenaline junkies getting our kicks off from the safety of our computer screens. Next up, we've got the thrill of the unknown. There's something inherently fascinating about the things we don't understand, and creepypastas tap into that curiosity. They present us with mysteries and enigmas, daring us to solve them. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good mystery? But it's not all about the thrill. Some of us are drawn to creepypastas for the sense of community they provide. These stories bring people together, shockingly enough, sparking discussion and debates. They give us a common ground, a shared experience, and in this digital age, that's more important than ever. So there's a quick glimpse of the psychology of creepypastas, from the adrenaline and mystery to community and fear. These stories tap into our deepest desires and fears, and as we move on to our next scene, we'll take a look at how these stories evolved in the digital age. Let's start with the basics. In the early days, creepypastas were just text-based stories shared on forums and message boards. They were simple, straightforward, and to the point. But as the internet evolved, so did creepypastas. They became more complex, incorporating multimedia elements like images, audio, and even video. They started to blur the line between fiction and reality, creating immersive experiences that left the readers questioning what was real. And let's not forget about the rise of social media. Platforms like Reddit and X gave birth to the new breed of creepypastas, ones that unfolded in real time and engaged readers in a whole new way. They turned passive readers into active participants, creating a sense of urgency and immediacy that wasn't possible before. But it's not just about the format. These themes and subjects of creepypastas have evolved as well. They've moved beyond simple ghost stories and urban legends, tackling complex issues like mental health, technology, and societal fears. They've become a mirror for our collective anxieties, reflecting the fears and concerns of the digital age. And let's not forget about the impact of creepypastas on pop culture. They've inspired movies, TV shows, and video games, infiltrating mainstream media and reaching a wider audience. They've become part of culture, a testament to their enduring appeal. So there's a glimpse into the evolution and adaptation of creepypastas in the digital age. From simple text-based stories to immersive multimedia experiences, these tales have come a long way. And now let's move on to our final scene, where we'll take a look at where they may go from here. Alright folks, we've made it to the final scene, so let's dive into the future of creepypastas. First off, I think we can expect to see more multimedia creepypastas. As technology continues to advance, the line between fiction and reality will become even more blurred. We might see stories that incorporate virtual reality or augmented reality, creating immersive experiences that are more terrifying than ever. Second, I think we'll see more creepypastas that tackle social and political issues. As our world becomes more complex, and our fears and anxieties will evolve as well. Creepypastas will continue to reflect these fears, serving as a mirror for our collective anxieties. Finally, I think we'll see more mainstream recognition of creepypastas. They've already started to infiltrate popular culture, and I think this is a trend that will only continue. I think we'll see more movies, TV shows, and video games inspired by these stories, especially video games, reaching a wider audience and cementing their place in our culture lexicon. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. The future's unpredictable, and who knows what it holds for creepypastas. Maybe they'll evolve in ways we can't imagine, or maybe they'll fade into obscurity, replaced by the next big thing. Only time will tell. So there you have it. That's a glimpse into the possible future of creepypastas. But what do you think? Do you agree with my predictions, or do you have your own ideas about where these stories might go? And would you like to hear more about creepypastas, like maybe a top 10 list or something? Let me know in the comments below. And before we wrap up, I have one last question for you. What's your favorite creepypasta? Is it a classic like Slenderman or Jeff the Killer, or is it something less well known? I'm always on the lookout for a good scare, so don't be shy. Share your favorites with me. Well, that's all for now, folks. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the world of creepypastas. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I did. And remember, the next time you're browsing the internet late at night, keep an eye out for those creepy stories. You never know when you might stumble upon the next big thing.